Jalan menuju pendekatan kepada Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala itu ialah yumeneng imaning sun qalbul mukmin baitullah. Jelase yumeneng imaning sun qalbun kolep hati, hati. Lah di hati ini apa yang dikatakan kolep mangling ing lenglengan, telenging jejantung sing dadi lajere urip, tempat pasebanane para malaikat, widodari, jin, setan, lan siluman. Siluman, setan, dan lain-lain yang akan membawa keburukan dan dosa kepada kita harus dihilangkan, dipupus, habis. Hati kita mesti bersih. Bersih seperti Baitullah.
Sementara di balik tembok itu, kami tahu SD Pentima telah dipenuhi murid baru.
Ini. Hari Senin adalah hari batik. Hari Selasa, Rabu, Kamis, dan Sabtu adalah seragam putih biru.
Untuk melengkapi ilmumu, Jebeng, pelajarilah semua ini. Alhamdulillah. Kau tidak akan mengenal Tuhanmu sebelum kau mengenal dirimu. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Silakan, Jebeng. Monggo. Monggo. Allahu Akbar. Allah. Ilmu yang diturunkan tadi hanya untuk orang yang mempunyai pengetahuan dasar Islamnya cukup, serta mengerjakan syariat dan pengamalannya terus-menerus kepada Allah. 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 Assalamualaikum. Waalaikumsalam. Saya Raden Sahid, Kanjeng Sunan. Allah. Saya terpaksa kembali. Saya merasa hati ini masih belum putih. Jiwa belum bersih. Harus seperti apa yang dikatakan liring sepuh sepi hawa hingkang sifat wisesowus. Masih harus ditempa lagi. Sitiko anglampai Kanjeng Sunan. Jumeneng nyawa ningsun nafsul mutmainah ma'rifatullah. Untuk mencapai tingkatan iman yang lebih tinggi harus membuang nafsu yang akan membawa kita ke perbuatan dosa. Nah, pikirkanlah semua itu. Saat bahagia bagi Raden Sahid yang selama ini dikenal orang sebagai penjaga kali. Ada juga yang menyebutnya kali jaga. Bisa mempercayakan sebagai mubalik. Sebarkanlah agama Islam ke seluruh pelosok jagat. Tapi ingat, di dalam Islam tidak ada paksaan. Berpeganglah selalu pada ayat suci Al-Quran dan hadis Nabi besar Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Carilah mubalik sejati. Insya Allah akan mendapat tuntunan dan berkah daripadanya.
To understand all, the chaos in the world, and as we have been programmed, both biologically, physically, programmed mentally, intellectually, one must be aware of this being programmed like a computer.
The ayah of the Quran, of course, Surah An-Nahl, I always begin with this ayah. And we sent down the Quran, sent down the book, the Quran, on thee, O Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, that this Quran might explain all things. And therefore that this Quran might explain the strange world in which we are living today. It's not just politically strange, with its political globalization, moving in the direction of world government.
Insanity is that we have allowed an interwoven elite criminal class to rule over us while posing as the saviors of the planet. We have learned they will stop at nothing to achieve their goals and are not held accountable for their crimes. They prey on the system rather than protect it. This is not a new world order of peace and prosperity. It is not a world government to save the earth. During difficult times, we must remain ever vigilant against seemingly positive solutions imposed to suit their aims.
to understand all the chaos in the world, and as we have been programmed, both biologically, physically, programmed mentally, intellectually, one must be aware of this being programmed like a computer.
It is all around us. Even now, in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or when you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell, or taste, or touch. Prison for your mind.
From the time an American child reaches the 6th grade, they are taught that the key to success in life is to do well in high school so that they can get accepted to the best possible college. The better grades they get in high school, the better college they will have an opportunity to get into. They are taught that if they get into a great college and get their college degree, any type of job they desire in the field of their choice will be there waiting for them.
Jika kita mampu mengusir atau menghancurkan sistem ekonomi dajjal atau sistem ekonomi kepalsuan dengan menggunakan alat transaksi yang adil yaitu emas, karena emas mengandung nilai sepanjang masa dan di negara manapun emas itu berada tetap memiliki nilai harga yang sama, tidak seperti alat tukar yang palsu yaitu uang kertas atau uang kartal. Sementara uang kertas setiap saat mengalami penurunan nilai terhadap harga barang dan emas. Bahaya yang lain bagi pengguna uang kertas adalah terdapatnya virus inflasi yang akan membinasakan suatu negara secara berlahan-lahan. Inflasi adalah harga-harga naik. Inflasi itu bukan harga barang yang naik, tapi nilai uang kertas yang turun. Dengan memakai uang kertas buatan Zionis Yahudi ini yang nilainya terus turun, seolah-olah harga barang seperti naik terus. Padahal dalam ekonomi Islam tidak ada istilah inflasi, karena dalam sistem keuangan ekonomi Islam menggunakan dinar dan dirham sebagai alat tukar yang stabil. Kebanyakan penduduk bumi tidak mengetahui bahwa uang kertas yang dipakai selama ini adalah alat transaksi yang menipu dan dapat menghancurkan ekonomi para pengguna uang tersebut. Berikut ini adalah bukti kepalsuan dan kebohongan transaksi dengan menggunakan uang kertas. biaya pembuatan uang kertas $1 kira-kira 4 sen atau Rp400. Begitu pula biaya pembuatan uang kertas Rp10.000 kurang lebih Rp400. Sehingga dengan modal yang sama, keuntungan dolar terhadap rupiah adalah Rp9.600. Begitu pula pembuatan uang kertas $100.000 sama Rp400. Karena tinggal menambahkan angka nolnya 5 serta merubah warna dan gambarnya pada format mesin pencetak uang tersebut. Maka dengan modal 4 sen atau Rp400, keuntungan $100.000 terhadap $1 miliar adalah Rp999.990.600. Inilah kepalsuan mata uang Dajjal alias dolar yang merupakan ketidakadilan dan penipuan alias penjajahan ekonomi modern.
don't worry, none of your secret's safe with me. Besides, I could use a little juice on my side.
What are you thinking about, Micah?
It's like my daddy used to say, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
It's not only strange in its economy, moving in the direction of globalization of an economy, a world economy, in which one people will now enslave all of mankind.
After getting their dream job, they will be able to buy any car and house they desire, start their own family, and live the American dream.
The Quran says you are busy piling up, calculating, developing your careers, your money, your occupation, your wealth, until you visit the graves.
Students are taught to believe that if they don't go to college, they will be on a path to nowhere and will have no chance of ever building a successful career.
I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. You know something? They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club.
Living in the New World Order when it's close to completion for the average citizen, for people like you and me, is going to be essentially slavery. We're never going to be able to get ahead. We're never going to be able to amass enough wealth essentially to retire or to do what we want to do in life. We're going to constantly be working for the man. They're creating essentially a two-class system. So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
The New World Order that is currently being built revolves around creating a global technopoly ruled by the elite, in which they dominate and control a severely reduced populace, which they treat as their pets. In the New World Order, the people are the enemy.
Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life, that there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there, like a splinter in your mind, driving you mad. It is this feeling that has brought you to me.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
Not include the cost of textbooks, which have tripled over the past decade. Colleges are now charging $200 for each single textbook that has no resale value because they put out new, slightly revised versions with a new name each year. The textbook publishers are even colluding with college bookstores to make custom textbooks so that students can't save money by buying them online. Colleges are getting kickbacks from publishers in order to destroy the used textbook market, which by itself is proof enough that college administrators are only interested in lining their own pockets and have no interest in helping their students.
understand that people who try to maintain empires and create empires do it by manipulating the people they're trying to conquer.
You might want to ask yourself why the entire culture is utterly saturated with mass media entertainment from all sides, while the educational system in America continues its stupefying downward slide since the U.S. government decided to take over and subsidize the public school system.
What your government pays for, it gets. When we understand that, then we look at government-financed institutions of education and see the kind of students and the kind of education that's being turned out by these government-financed schools. Logic will tell you that if what is being turned out in those schools was not in accord with what the state and the federal government wanted, then it would change it. The bottom line is that the government is getting what they have ordered. They do not want your children to be educated. They do not want you to think too much.
There's a method to their madness. There's really not much method to yours, because you're operating from a place of ignorance, and until you change that, you're going to be bumbling around, bumping into each other, saying and doing the wrong things, not understanding the nature of your enemy. And if you don't understand the nature of your enemy and the weapons they use, you cannot fight that enemy. You can't fight the battle. You shouldn't even be on the battlefield.
But not for Islamic modernism. I don't know whether you ever met it. A strange creature called Islamic modernism. Islamic modernism, an attempt to reinterpret the religion, to subject Islam to a progressive interpretation, so that it can fit in with the modern world. But in addition to this, there's also something else strange happening. And that is the confirmation of the hadith. The Prophet said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, and you take this hadith home with you tonight as you ponder the issues. He said, sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam, بدأ الإسلام غريبا وسيعود غريبا. When Islam began, it was something strange and therefore different from everything else in the world. And Islam will one day return to that state of being something strange and different from everything else in the world. And we are now living in that age in which Islam, not part-time Islam. No, we're talking about the Islam of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. That Islam is becoming something stranger and stranger. Something different from the rest of the world. Different from that globalized political order. Different from that globalized world economy. Different from that globalized culture or way of life. What it implies is that one people, namely Gog and Magog, one people are going to succeed in getting all of mankind, illa masha'Allah, all of mankind to follow them instead of Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, to imitate them, to become carbon copies of them. So even while the man says he's a Muslim, and that one says he's a Hindu, and that one says he's a Christian, and that one says he's a Jew, in fact, they're only holding on to their rice husk. When they say they're Muslim or Hindu or Christian or Jew, they have effectively joined the Jamaat. That is the global society, the universal society of a people called Gog and Magog.
In fact, they have done so for centuries. From the shadows, they have engineered every major war, revolution and recession. They control everything you read, everything you hear, and everything you see. They have managed to indoctrinate an entire populace to their way of thinking and have infiltrated key positions in places of authority. And it is from the shadows that they have created a new political order, a new economic order, and more sinister, a new religious order.
Adam alayhi salam take out or separate the people for the hellfire. And Adam alayhi salam asks, how many are they, O Allah? This is Sahih Bukhari, eh? How many are they, O Allah? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replies and He says, out of every 1,000, take 999 for the hellfire. Out of every 1,000, take 999 for the hellfire. The companions of the Prophet ﷺ were terrified. But then he smiled at them and he said, Bushra lakum, good news for you. The one for Jannah will be from you. Meaning, someone who truly follows the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam. Someone who holds on to the Quran and Sunnah, regardless of the price he may have to pay. That one is for heaven. But then he went on to say that the 999 would all be the people of Gog and Magog. Teach the subject. How many times have you ever heard anyone talking about Gog and Magog? None. I have lived my entire life studying Islam. No one ever spoke on the subject of Gog and Magog to me. None. No teacher, no school, no institution, no Maulana, none. Now that's strange. Because if 999 are going to be the people of Gog and Magog, ulama'uhum sharru an-nas mimman tahta adim as-sama. The religious scholars who support such a blind people, the religious scholars who are embraced by such a blind people, who are holding on to nothing but their rice husk, those religious scholars, those ulama would be the worst people beneath the sky. من عندهم تخرج الفتنة وفيهم تعود. From them will emerge that which will constitute fitna for the people, tests and trials, corrupting them. And they'll become the centers of fitna.
Matrix is a computer-generated dream, built to keep us under control, to change.
The North American Union is the same concept as the European Union, the African Union, and the soon-to-be Asian Union, and the same people are behind all of them. And, when the time is right, the North American Union, the European Union, the African Union, and the Asian Union will be merged together, forming the final stages of a plan these men have been working on for over 60 years. A one-world government. One bank, one army, one center of power.
Djibouti, a planned attack on the U.S. consulate in Karachi, a plot to hijack a passenger plane and fly it into Library Tower in Los Angeles, the planes into Heathrow Airport. Despite the record of success, and despite the fact that our professionals use lawful techniques, which of the attacks I have just described would they prefer we had not stopped?
Didn't think it would end this way.
End? No, the journey doesn't end here.
In 1970, just 3 years after the publication of the Iron Mountain Report, which calls for, if we're going to create a world government, we can no longer use war as a mechanism to cause fear amongst populations and therefore allow us to control the behavior of populations through fear.
Isn't so bad.
No, it isn't.
we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised.
That's why my broadcast scares the hell out of socialists. You see, what happens when you broadcast the truth is you piss everybody off. Really understand sometimes what a terrible burden it is to know some of the things that I know and try to wake people up and impart this knowledge to them and find out that they just have walls built in front of them. They want to be slaves.
The Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Were you listening to me, Neo? Or were you looking at the woman in the red dress? I was... Look again. Freeze it.
This isn't the Matrix.
No. It's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them.
What are they?
Sentient programs. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means that anyone we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent.
Why is
is he known as the false Messiah. His mission is to impersonate the true Messiah. The true Messiah was the son of Mary, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, Jesus. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. When Allah sent him, he was sent as the true Messiah with a mission to rule the world from Jerusalem, from Holy Israel.
The one who has faith can read. The one who has no faith cannot read. So maybe we should send him to the eye specialist to have his eyes examined. Why can't you read? And so now it is plain and clear that when the one who has faith is seeing, he's seeing with more than these eyes. He's seeing with the heart. And so now it is also plain and clear that when Dajjal sees with the left eye, it symbolizes external vision. When Dajjal is blind in the right eye, it symbolizes internal blindness. And why is it that the one who has faith can read and recognize kafir, disbeliever? Maybe that the one who has faith is not reading with these eyes. Do we have any other eyes beside these eyes? Do we have any other ears beside these ears? Do we have any other means of acquiring knowledge other than through sense perception and rationality? The modern godless world says no. The Quran says yes. The Quran says that the heart can see. The Quran says that the heart can hear. When faith enters into the heart, then Allah puts nur in the heart, light. And with that light the heart can see what these eyes cannot see.
ampunilah dosa-dosaku, sebagaimana Engkau mengampuni dosa-dosa umatmu yang terdahulu.
Dekatkanlah diri kepada Allah. Milikilah suatu petunjuk jalan sebagai tongkat menempuh hidup yang sementara ini. Dan emas pada tangkainya yang selalu tergenggam, gunakanlah untuk amal ibadahmu.
Tongkat bertangkai emas yang bisa digunakan untuk amal ibadah.
Betapapun sukar, berat, kau harus tempuh. Milikilah, dan itu harus menjadi bagian dari jiwamu.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Maaf Kanjeng, apa boleh saya bertanya?
Oh boleh Kisana. Ada apa?
Kanjeng belum seberapa tua, mengapa sudah memakai tongkat?
Ya, sekedar untuk penunjuk jalan. Lebih-lebih kalau hari sudah mulai gelap.
Boleh saya melihat tangkainya Kanjeng?
Ada apa? Ada apa dengan tangkai tongkat saya? Bukankah sekarang Kisana sudah melihatnya dengan jelas?
Saya ingin melihat tangkai tongkat yang Kanjeng genggam itu apa terbuat dari emas?
Nanti setelah melihat, Kisana ingin memilikinya.
Tidak, saya cuma ingin melihat.
Jadi Kisana sedang mencari tongkat bertangkai emas?
Iya Kanjeng.
Sebaiknya tidak usah. Nanti timbul keinginan untuk memiliki yang bukan miliknya sendiri. Astagfirullahaladzim.
Maaf Kanjeng, ini tongkatnya.
Saya bukan menangisi tongkat itu. Tapi coba lihat ini. Saya telah mencabut nyawa rumput ini. Saya jadi pembunuh. Betapa besar dosa saya Kisana. La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Kalau begitu, Kisana menginginkan tongkat bertangkai emas ini.
Saya ingin diucap ilmu yang Kanjeng miliki.
Misalkan air laut dijadikan tinta. Dan
daun-daun di seluruh jagat ini dijadikan kertasnya, masih belum cukup untuk menuliskan ilmu Allah itu ke sana. Tidak sebanyak itu yang saya mau tuntut. Saya cuma perlu satu titik. Di titik lah itu Kanjeng. Kanjeng Sunan, saya mohon maaf sebesar-besarnya. Pejanglah saya, tempalah saya. Cucilah zahir batin saya ini, bagaimanapun caranya.